Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Mage the Ascension 20th anniversary rules by Onyx Path Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and contains adult themes. Our World of Darkness is intended for adults. Listeners should pay close attention to all listed content warnings. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your storyteller. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your storyteller this evening, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and we are back with, as the Ascension of Babylon, our Mage 20th Anniversary Edition Chronicle continues here in shiny Las Vegas. And so at the top of the show, as I like to do, we'd like to thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter. You can check out what we have to offer on patreon.com/the Old Ways podcast. You can also see what we have to offer on YouTube and over on Twitch. So twitch.tv/the Old Ways Twitch. Join us there. Who knows what fun things we might get up to. And now we'll begin with character introductions to my right.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I play Kaylee Hannah Godfrey, and we're going to see a show other than this one from the Sphere.
Absolutely. To Kaylee's right.
This is Lecco playing Dante Maxim Vargas Bailey, who maybe should have waited until after the show to meet up with his new friends and the unrelenting fountain of scary info they seem capable of producing.
It is interesting, isn't it? And next to Dante.
I'm Bunny. My pronouns are she, her. I play Dante's tutor, and I had not wanted to distract him before the show and then became a fountain of big, scary knowledge. So I can't wait to see how the show goes now that he's thoroughly distracted again.
Working as intended. At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Oliver Devereaux, and I have all kinds more information to dump on him that he's going to find scary and upsetting.
Yeah, the world is full of terrors. To Oliver's right.
This is Silas. I'm playing Suits. Oliver's maybe a future, companion, compatriot in all sorts of fun crimes. And Suits is pretty impressed with Oliver's taking of all sorts of fun knowledge.
It is. All knowledge should be your providence. Last but most certainly not least.
Hi, this is James, and I'll be playing Adam Harrison. And more than anything, he really doesn't want to see Dante splattered all over the top of this roof, so we should probably keep an eye open for that.
Might not be a bad idea. Okay, so we're going to cycle the clock forward a little bit. So a few hours pass. The group is able to head back down to the casino. They're able to, should they want to, should they decide to eat there, you can get a meal. We can get all that sorted out. There are really a couple main things that I want to know from every character. One, is there anything you're trying to do during the interim time that does not involve the roof? Because everybody is going to get essentially told, hey, get off the roof while we get things finished preparing. Is there anything you're trying to get done before you go back that needs to be done? If not, we'll push forward. So hit me with anything.
Not on my end.
Nope, I'm good.
Adam drops his last dollar into a slot machine. Other than that, nothing.
Okay.
I fall into a bit of a haze as I lounge as best as I can and do deep breathing exercises while holding Sophie with both hands on my chest and just kind of staring at the ceiling so as to not disrupt my makeup.
Yeah, it is really difficult to get that feeling off. And Sophie is like squirming and non-compliant, and she doesn't like whatever you're doing.
I mean, if she wants me to let her go, I'll let her go. But honestly, like, at this point, it's just a matter of comfort.
Okay. We tick the clock forward. At 8 o'clock, the call goes text. It's really a text message you get, Dante, that tells you to head to the performer's waiting area So that way you can be called in to, begin this sort of process. There's a floor show that's planned before any of the private or sort of staged performances. That'll run for about an hour or so until Vegas drops into full-on nightlife. For the rest of you, you head back towards the elevator and the ticketing space there. The gentlemen who you saw earlier are gone. They've actually been replaced by other attendants. They're dressed in essentially tuxedos, and they are watching the elevator.
I sure hope that those other guys went on break. Otherwise, they were killed for letting us up here.
I'm not sure that would be in good form. I get the feeling that this is a high enough venue that they're not just going to kill people willy-nilly.
So you're going to reacquire your tickets?
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't take you long. They produce 3 tickets. They're in your name, Oliver.
All right.
It's like a little envelope.
Pull the tickets out and distribute them.
You head up after that.
Yeah.
At this point, the bar has people in it. And the nightlife that is so rich in Vegas has invaded this space. Colors and sounds, people talking, the mingling, alcohol. Since you are technically outside, people are smoking up here. And so that is an amalgamation of cigarettes, cigars, and weed. And there is a pool show. So there are a varying degree of types of performers, but they're performing in the pool. There's people laughing and having a good time and watching, pool performers do their thing. For you, Dante, you don't really see any of this because you're essentially in a backstage area. Yep. But you can hear the music is going and things are getting hyped.
Dante will do as he normally does before performance and will go around to the performers that are kind of around in the space. Those who aren't, lost in their heads, those who seem to be kind of idling, those like looking at their phones, or those that are pacing or sitting, and check in on them. Like he hasn't had a chance to meet the other people, whether it's the performers that are doing like the feature show or the sheer volume of potential chorus people that are here.
Yeah, the volume is a good word for it. The backstage area probably has 25, and they're all done up and prepared. You probably know, not like a first connection degree, but like a second or third. You probably have performed with some of these people here in varying shows.
And it's just something Dante does. It's something he did at Chippendales. It's something he did for Cirque. He's not going to stop now. It's kind of like he feels better when he focuses on, other people's stresses and other people's problems. It allows him to kind of refocus his energy a bit, so he's not worried about his own stuff.
You do so. For folks enjoying the floor show outside, are you doing anything specific other than like heading to your seats?
Heading to the seats, but Adam is moving quite slowly and taking all of this in. He is not at all used to the falderall or rich life sort of partying, so the concept of a pool show previously meant 2 people fight and fall in the pool and like a weave gets pulled out. And that's about it. So this is new for him.
Totally new for sure. At about 8:30, it happens. You see the sphere light up. Big and bright and glowy. And you see it swirl. The image on it begins to swirl. It's like a cloud form, blue background, white clouds. It begins to swirl and swirl and swirl. there isn't a person up here that's not looking at it. People who are at the bar get drawn to it. It's impossible to not look at it, at least in some fashion, unless you're actively trying not to. Are you going to actively try not to, Adam?
You know what? Actually, Adam's at the moment more interested in the fact that everyone else's mouth agape staring out the window at it.
Good. Roll willpower.
Okay. I'll gladly do so.
5 successes required.
What's that?
5 successes required.
Okay. Nope, 3.
It's bad. It's bad because you try not to. And you keep seeing it out of the corner of your eye. And you keep getting drawn to it again and again. And eventually you're staring at it. And then these figures walk out, bigger than life, bending along the angles of the sphere. And you watch you two take the stage, but in a really strange way. They're sort of a little two-dimensional at first, and you see the image on the sphere turn internally to see the crowd inside the sphere enjoying it. And it is a lot for your brain to take in because of the different dimensions. And their show starts. And for a good couple of minutes, you're just plastered to it. Like a kid sitting on the floor of his parents' living room on the carpet, looking at the old Magnavox. For our avatars here, the pull is something quite disturbing. So even though Dante and Tudor are separated from this visually, you still feel the pull toward it, Tudor, because it is something that is taking place on multiple levels.
Oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of you two either. I put my headphones in and listen to my 5-minute music.
Dante?
Yeah?
I mentioned before that the sphere was weird when we first saw it.
Can we not right now?
And
Really? This is a really bad time.
Okay. Good luck with your show. And she'll just sit there trying to figure out what this pull means for her, but not discuss it with Dante.
Okay.
The fact that there's that draw to it feels very wrong, though.
We're going to have some of the same thoughts going on over on this side. Trying to figure out why. So, Oliver, are you able to turn away here?
Nope. I mean, maybe. I haven't even tried.
You don't know that you want to.
I mean,
honestly.
Right.
It's an amazing experience. So does Oliver have the Mind Sphere?
He does not.
Okay.
Can I try to use Dante's Mind Sphere, even though he's kind of ignoring me to prepare for the show?
You can use it potentially on him in a, I wouldn't call it adversarial, but I would say, there's push-pull between the mage and the avatar. You're functionally most times a conduit. So if you really want to dig in and do it, you can. You'll have to roll his avatar or his Arte rating.
Would I be able to go find suits since I know where the others would be? Is that a thing I'm capable of doing or trying to do?
It is something you're capable of doing because of your avatar, because of Dante's avatar rating.
Okay. And it's how long until Dante's part of the show starts?
Probably an hour or so.
I'm going to go try to find suits for now and not hijack Mind yet.
Okay. So you're like a bit of you're like a ghost sort of walking through the space here. Dante, you feel yourself get centered, right? The outside noise dims a little for you, which is good. You feel a little, I don't want to say cold, but that's the closest you can get to it. For you, Tudor, when you walk away, you realize that you are leaving something. You are leaving like sort of these yellowy footprints in the umbral here.
Unusual.
You look back and you see that some of them have these little trace, almost needle-like spikes left behind.
Have I ever seen anything like that before here?
Not here, but you know
in
that
the Umbra.
you know that when mages, when they suffer from paradox, their patterns change and shift and can have all sorts of strange effects. And it's kind of like you were in the room when the glitter bomb went off, and now it's on you too.
That makes perfect sense. Okay. I guess I'm gonna keep going to look for suits, because I don't really know what to do about my umbral glitter in the meantime.
Oliver, what's your avatar rating?
1.
Okay. So if memory serves correctly, you also have a dot of arcane.
2.
You have 2 dots of arcane. Okay, so here's what you're going to do, Tudor. You're going to roll avatar. It is going to be a 2 success required. So you're going to roll Dante's avatar rating, which is yours technically.
Mm-hmm.
And you need 2 successes to find suits, because he's hard to find.
A2.
Hey, all right. So you traipse your way through, not traipse, I should say. You walk through the spaces here. You walk through walls. You walk through all sorts of these spaces. You notice, too, that same sort of pattern exists in the hallways here. Also, the floors are a little confusing. But beyond all that, suits is hard to find. Genuinely. Like, you find Oliver and some of the rest of the patterns that you're somewhat familiar with, but you don't see suits anywhere. Not for the first minute or so. And then you turn around and you see him almost camouflaged behind some of the spaces here, like a column. He's blended into it. It's really strange.
You're not as easy as I'd like to find. She'll just say, staring at him. Or at least trying to stare at him.
What a welcome surprise. What brings you? I look around. I'm like looking for Dante.
You don't see him.
He's preparing for the show.
That is abnormal.
Aren't we all in our own ways? So, suits. That pull from the sphere is very uncomfortable, but my mage is a little preoccupied right now. So, if I want to have an intelligent conversation about it, seek another avatar. What are your thoughts on this?
It does seem quite powerful, and the fact that every single one of them is completely enthralled does make me a bit nervous.
The fact that they're all enthralled makes me a bit nervous, but also its presence on our side and the way it feels on our side makes me somehow extraordinarily nervous as well. Like it's an extra layer of confusion in the puzzle box that we're looking at over there. Well, puzzle ball that we're looking at.
A great source of power should cause alarm. Not certain if that's any more than concern or if it means it still will. But yes, the combination is troubling.
You feel it too, right?
I feel pull. That's all I can say.
How's your mage handling it?
He's staring right at the trap, if we could say that.
On the one hand, it's a while before Dante's performance, so I'm glad that he's just inside working on preparing himself for it and eliminating himself from distractions. On the other hand, I wonder how much more this is going to complicate the show than wind would have. You know, we were worried about ropes and wind and technocratic union nonsense potentially, but this is on a scale that I don't think we were prepared for.
If he cannot look away, I could see him have trouble.
So after a couple of minutes of staring at the sphere for the mages who are in the physical, you are able to break the wonder, the amazement, and look away. For the rest of the evening, just so we're all aware, until further notice, it is a draw, so your attention is going to be divided between whatever conversations you have and whatever's going on in the sphere. I think this plays out in a lot of ways in real life, where if there's a big television on the wall, it is very difficult sometimes to not get distracted by it. Except that this is something on a multitude or magnitude of scale that's much larger. So the night moves along. An hour or so passes, give or take. Some of the floor show stuff for you, Dante, they're on longer than you expect.
Okay.
The stage manager tells some of the acts that are upcoming that the host wanted more floor show, so we're just letting them improvise for a little while, and then they'll be off, and you'll be right in soon. Don't worry. He's trying to keep, a bunch of really highly talented performers calm as they begin to sort of crescendo. So it gets close to about 9:50, and some of the key performers begin to come out, right? So this is the group of people that are going out before you and your group are going out, Dante. You've had a chance to meet with some of these folks that you're working with, the more direct folks, all very professional. A lot of them compliment you on the face makeup. They look like they're prepared, and similarly, they seem to have a level of anxiety riding on top of what they're doing. So they're also trying to calm themselves and prepare themselves for what comes next. So the first official key performers come out, and they do a pretty good job. There's everything from tumbling to dancing to fire play. It really revs up the crowd in a serious way. You see the woman you saw earlier, Susan, come back, and she's sitting with a couple of men in the space that they have set aside for them. She's changed. She's in an evening dress with a sort of half coat that she wears. Jewelry is nice, but not excessive. And the men that she's with are sort of tailored from likely a high-end tailor. All their clothes are very, very well fitted. And they're enjoying drinks and talking and doing many, many normal party things as they watch. So for the functional purposes, so that you understand how well things went, Lego, the team that was out before you garnered 3 successes on their performance.
Well, that's adequate.
So they did a good job.
That's adequate. It's not bad.
The big misses there are like, there wasn't any issue with the fire. It's just, it went on too long.
Mm-hmm.
They got a little out of sort, and they had to sort of rein some things back in. And it's not something that the crowd would probably see, but other performers that understand how that stuff works and when it goes and when it's supposed to stop would be like, oh, okay, you got a little alignment.
Yeah, bolting on like a minute and a half to 2 minutes with unpracticed material. Yeah, that's a great idea.
And then it arrives. The stage manager comes back in after those folks are going out and says, okay, you're up.
Yeah, Dante takes a deep breath and stands up slowly, takes a real deep stretch, removes his warm-ups down to basically his leotard and costume. And then he walks out toward the stage entrance and waits for the lights to change and to hear the first dark, somber intonation and like near total darkness of the stage before he begins the first part of Seeking Ambrosia, which is what he's called his performance.
Okay. So for those of you outside in the audience, everything goes dark. It is really stunning. And it also highlights the fact that there's a glowing orb in the background, which if you're sitting down, you can't completely see, but you do see the glow that comes up from the street level from it because it's so tall.
And then there's like a single spotlight that starts to hunt Dante as he goes into a series of like agonizingly unsettling contortionist gymnastic floor exercises to this kind of contemplative and dark music. The idea being that like this part of the performance is to highlight like the pain of existence without understanding what you seek. And so the spotlight kind of follows him around as he seems to hunt, as he like rolls and darts around until he spies an object that is suspended, a round object kind of painted like a fruit, about the size of a basketball, looks kind of like an apple or nectarine. And so if I may, I would like to roll for the first part of my 3-part performance.
Sure.
So I'll be using Dex, and I have the Nimble specialty and Dance. And if I may, I would like to take advantage of my, what's the difficulty for this, by the way? I'm imagining it's pretty hard, so you tell me.
All base difficulties are 7, but for each performance, you're going to need a series of successes to be able to consider it a success.
Okay. So can I take, since it's a contortionist floor exercise, may I take advantage of the -2 difficulty for being hyperflexible?
Sure.
Okay. So Dex and Dance. So the difficulty would be 5 and 10s count as 2.
Yep.
Yeah. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 successes on part 1.
So give us a bit of narrative on how that looks like.
He starts to slither and roll around and dart and kind of contort in and around himself. So he kind of seems to flow, like his body moves in mysterious Ouroboros as his limbs like kind of bend and stretch as he moves around the stage under this single spotlight. And then a light highlights the fruit, the ambrosia. And then as he sees it and approaches it, he moves from kind of this ball of human into like a sprint. And then he goes like a vaulting, spinning, diving sprint until he takes like a long vertical leap and tries to touch the ambrosia. But then it gets launched into the air as the aerial frame that it's attached to, like the 20-foot frame that's used for like suspending trapezes, flips into position on the stage, like 90 degrees from the floor. And it seems to kind of collide with him. And so he basically receives the frame and he allows it to send him like spiraling across the stage. After tumbling a bit, he hits a jump pad at the very end of that particular getting pushed. And rather than using it to jump high, he uses it to bound into a second one. And it's angled in such a way so as not to get height, but distance. And when he slams off of the second jump pad, it appears that he's going to careen off the side of the building because he's basically going in a straight line like a bullet at like a 35-degree angle toward the top of this aerial frame.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no net to catch him that high. So as he seems to be ready to careen off the side, he reaches for the ambrosia again, but instead of grabbing it, he grabs the single handle that's hidden underneath the bottom of the platform that's attached by like a braided cord of bungees. And he uses it to slow his momentum as he spins away, like over the edge. And as they stretch and slow and twist, they'll be slowing his momentum until it hits the apex.
Okay.
So for this, if I may, I leave it to you to decide. I feel like this is either Dex or Strength? ? Your call. And Gymnastics.
I think it's a strength gymnastics roll, especially because you're trying to effectively in midair alter your trajectory by utilizing rope.
A string of a braid
Yeah.
of bungees.
Yes.
So, in case I have to argue this, I think doing aerial gymnastics on top of a windy building at night qualifies as both incomprehensibly stupid and would risk turning even well above people into paste.
Yeah, I mean, your daredevil's going to apply.
All right, I was checking. So strength, my specialty in acrobatics gets me the 10s times 2. No minus difficulty on this. So difficulty is 7 still?
Mm-hmm.
But 10s count as 2, so 2, 4, 5, 6. 7 minus 1 is 6.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you perform the second portion flawlessly, and to the awes and raving of the crowd. For those of you, the rest of the enlightened here, this is it imparts unbelievable routine that you're watching him do. It is reminiscent of really any amazing feat of gymnastics you've seen before. This is a peak Las Vegas performer working at his absolute best. And so before you complete part 3, however, I would like the rest of our mages to roll their arete.
2.
2.
Interesting. There is something building beyond what is going on here. You can watch it alongside the feat of gymnastic ability that's going on here. You see it build in the sides of the building and in the pool and in the walls and these columns. You see energy beginning to be raised in this space. So that'll also apply for you as well, Suits. You'll see that because Oliver did. And it is building and building and building and building and building. And you can see the tension in the air raising. So the energy itself is red, in some cases dark red. It is this swirling and perhaps slightly gold tinged red that's growing here.
I want to take a look at Susan.
Mm-hmm.
Does she look like she's doing anything?
You look back and you see that Susan is on her phone. So is the guy next to her.
Lame.
All right, so part 3, if you would.
Yeah. Having carefully mapped out the length at great and agonizing amounts of calculation, Dante will brace himself at the apex of the stretch, slamming his feet off of the jump pad and using it and the fully stretched bungee to send himself skyward, like up and up, blowing past the ambrosia, like blowing past the 20-foot frame, 25, 30, 35 feet. And when he reaches the apex of his launch, he will attempt to basically contort himself in a way so as to appear to hover there as the lights go out, which would basically leave him silhouetted against the sphere. In that moment before he falls. And then he plummets into a free fall toward the platform that holds the ambrosia, and he will attempt to catch the vertical leg of the frame into a pole spin, using it at dizzying speeds all the way down, and try to use it to slow his descent onto the stage.
Before we get to that, though, while you're in the air, why don't you go ahead and roll that for me? Because I think something may happen during this portion that I want to make sure we're all clear on.
Okay. So this would not be the climbing roll then, because that's the catch. So you're looking for the launch.
I am.
All right. So this would probably be strength and gymnastics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. I do have one question, by the way, and I didn't ask about this earlier. And we haven't really talked about refreshing willpower yet, but my nature is kid. And I'm curious as to whether or not Oliver would qualify as someone who wouldn't normally care about someone who has taken an interest in looking after me.
I wouldn't say just yet.
No, I just meant in the moment that he was looking out for me.
Okay.
Because I am spending willpower anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 total. Oh, +1 from the willpower, so 6.
So 6 on the last part as well. Okay. So when you leap into the air and you are backlit only by the sphere, you feel it in the air. You feel the exhilaration, the energy, the output. And then something happens behind you. You get a burst of light. A burst of light comes out of the sphere. It is as if the sun has been planted on the earth. And there is this crescendo of sound that begins as a woman's voice calling out through the air, breaking windows, shattering glass with her scream. And so, I'm gonna make a roll here. I'll explain this a little bit to the avatars first because they'll see it first. On the sphere, you see the projection of a woman, raven dark hair, pale skin, wearing what looks to be some sort of either classical, like ancient Roman, ancient Greek classical dress or something akin to it. It's black as well. And she is pressing her hands against the sphere. And you can see her from this angle looking up, almost like she's looking up at a captor. And she is screaming. And it happens within the passage of a couple of seconds. When she screams, you feel it. It pierces the gauntlet in downtown Las Vegas. The gauntlet rating is 8. When she continues to scream for that like last half of the second, you almost feel like you're being shook. All of you, Dante included, feel someone shake you by the shoulders in a fit of rage. And Dante, you come down.
Screaming. Dante is screaming.
You land, maybe not in the most ceremonious way that you wanted to, but you do land clean and you capture your desire.
Well, if we're actually going to see the end of the show,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when he lands, there's an explosion of lights and smoke when his heels hit the stage, and then the ambrosia falls from its perch, and Dante normally would try to catch it in this moment, but I imagine he's not going to catch it.
No.
So basically, the ambrosia slams into the ground, exploding into a ball of glitter and confetti as Dante runs backstage, and the lights go out because that's the end. That was the end of the thing. I take 2 bashing.
You take 2 bashing, yes.
Okay.
I have relieved you of your paradox.
Oh! Did you guys hear that?
What?
I don't think that was supposed to happen. Is Dante okay?
People are applauding. And you see Dante like running for his life.
No. Get up and hustle after him. He doesn't seem okay.
Lots of people start moving. Susan and her 2 friends, they're suddenly gone.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I'll follow after Adam.
Okay. Kaylee, what are you doing?
No, I'll take off. I will follow a little closer behind. So when this big shake happens,
Yeah.
we're still all sitting down when that happens, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. So that would definitely have me frozen for a little bit before I stand up a little more shaky, because that's not something that I would have ever expected to encounter. So I'm probably moving more with the crowd rather than in a great haste, but I would like to, since I still have a hold of Oliver's name in my pocket, I'm gonna just channel life like I did before and follow his trail, so at least I know where they're going, considering I'm still getting steady on my feet.
So you're going to need to make an Arte roll.
Okay. Ah, like a whole success.
Yeah, it's not as easy to track him all of a sudden.
Are there just too many threads?
It's not that. It's that, like, his thread is hard to pick up on now for whatever reason. You can see Adam. He's bigger than shit. You can't miss that dude.
Okay, then I guess I'll follow Adam.
So you rush, the three of you rush backstage. Although, Dante, you're there first. You can't get the screaming out of your ears right now. You can still hear this woman screaming.
Oh, so my first move is to run backstage. I don't stop running until I'm in my dressing room. At which point I slam and lock the door and immediately begin, like, packing my bag, unconcerned with my costume or applause or flowers.
The lights go out in here.
Fuck. I freeze.
The performer's mirror, the one with all of the beautiful lights around it, begin to flicker and zap back and forth.
The hell is going on? I say aloud and scream in my head.
I do not know, but we should see if there's anything else in here with us.
Do what now?
You have senses. You know how to use them. I don't.
I point at the mirror.
I can't keep holding your hand through explaining that you can tell if there's other things than the material with you. I need you to focus.
What the fuck do you mean other than the material? You mean like you?
Me, other effects.
Adam, you get to the door.
I would like to take the least opportune moment to pound loudly on the door with the side of my fist.
I go open the door. And I say, as I'm opening the door, fuck my sixth sense, I'm out. And I'm going to scoot past Adam as he opens the door holding my bag and begin moving down the hall.
Adam, make me a perception awareness.
2 successes.
So when Dante slips past you and you sort of see him, I mean, he's a slippery fellow. You have figured that out by now. His dressing room is dark, pitch black, dark, except for one of those performers' mirrors with all of the light bulbs all around it. So that way everybody's, got, light in their face. You can see little crackles of electricity back and forth between some of them. So you're seeing like an after image of what looks like an electrical surge. And then you see it for just a moment. You see this figure appear on the other side of the mirror. This woman with raven dark hair in a black, classical Greek dress, and her eyes just bleed red energy. And she pounds her fist on the mirror, and you watch it crack.
I would like to use Correspondence Prime reflexively to increase the space and or distance between me and what's on the other side of that mirror. I would like to reinforce the walls. Fuck that.
Correspondence, I'm not sure you have the right spheres to do it.
Correspondence to almost cement the location that she's at and I'm at, or basically just shield where I'm at from anything coming to it.
Let's take a look at our effects. So Correspondence 2 is going to allow you to thicken and reach through space. So yeah, I suppose you could. I'd let you make an Arate roll if you want to, essentially, in effect, try to push her away.
Mhm. Make it more difficult, yes.
Sure.
1 success.
What's your correspondence focus?
Correspondence, it is the mantras in my self-help book.
Okay.
Open myself, I am part of the universe, and all places are me, I am all places, and therefore all I have to do is change myself to change the universe around me, and...
Okay. Kaylee and Oliver, you get to this door as well. So you get to the door and you hear Adam mumbling things, and I'm happy to give you a perception awareness roll. It's at a higher difficulty because she's technically only visible for a few seconds, but you're welcome to it if you want. Would you like to see the creepy spirit lady?
I want to see his creepy spirit lady.
I don't. I want to see if I can't find Adam, like how fast he's escaped. Basically, if he's still nearby enough, I want to catch up to him.
You want to catch up to Adam or Dante?
Not Adam, Dante.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be contested probably, but
Yeah.
we'll get to it.
Two successes.
You see the creepy lady behind the mirror. She looks very angry,
Fuck is that?
and she's gone.
Zool?
Kaylee, you press on. If you're in flight mode, Dante, it's probably Dex Gymnastics or Dex Athletics at the very least.
Yeah, I'll do the strength athletics because I'm running.
You're trying to run away.
I'm running as fast as my little legs will carry me.
Okay. Well, the only place you can run, technically speaking, that you know of is the elevator.
Or the stairs.
Do you know where the stairs are?
Of course I know where the stairs. I've been running them.
Okay.
You tell me if I know where the stairs are. I am
You know where the
absent-minded,
stairs are.
after
That's
all.
fine. That's true. You are absent-minded. So you forget where the stairs are. I love that. I love that for you. You go to the elevator.
I pace. And I look over my shoulder constantly.
Oh, Kaylee, give me a roll. I think it's reasonable to ask for a probably perception alertness.
I got that.
You're hunting, you're tracking. That's the thing that you do.
I have 5 successes.
That's a lot. So it doesn't get you anything other than essentially a deduction of time. So Dante, you're waiting with some people who are also waiting to use the elevator because obviously people are leaving. Something happened at the show, and so people are trying to get out while, the getting is good. And yeah, I mean, Kaylee, you find him. He's waiting on the elevator in a very opportune position to get into the elevator as soon as it opens.
Dante, wait.
No.
Okay, then I'll just follow him onto whatever elevator he gets onto.
I clutch my bag containing my mink as if it were the One Ring. Like I'm just holding onto this thing for dear life and waiting to get on the elevator. Nope, I don't care. I don't want to care.
The elevator opens.
I'm in the elevator.
Oh yeah, me too. I don't care how many people I'm pushing past. I'm on that elevator.
Several people are. I'll say there's 1d10 people who attempt to get on the elevator. 3 more people. So there are 5 people in this elevator total. It begins to go down.
I don't let them push me to the corner. I continue to worm. Every time someone gets on the elevator, I continue to reposition myself so I'm still at the door.
Okay.
Excuse me, thank you.
The door closes. Locks in. The ride begins. The interior of this elevator, of course, is much like many Vegas elevators where it is highly reflective.
What the fuck is happening?
Pretty boy, you're okay?
Fuck, no.
Sophia's okay?
No.
No, hear me out. Hear me out. You don't know what that was. It was admittedly terrifying. There's something we need to figure out with that sphere. But for now, you're okay. Your beautiful mink is okay. We're fine. So I need you to take some deep breaths and work with me here. Don't shut me out right now. We can get into whatever squabbles about sixth senses and how you desperately need them later. But for right now, I just need you to focus. Okay?
All right.
You and Sophia are okay.
I side-eye Kaylee.
So what you'll like see and hear from me, because I'm right next to you, I'm actually going to be humming very quietly the equivalent of the best lullaby that my mom ever has sung to me when I was young. And what I'd like to do is use that as my focus for Mind 1. And can I sense, or can I shield Dante from other people's emotions right now? So that way, anything that might be heightening that reaction will kind of stay contained instead of escalating.
Part of me wants to say mind 1 is for self, mind 2 would be for others. I think I have that right?
It sounds right.
Yeah, so I mean, you can do yourself, but doing other people, you need more dots.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is a long elevator ride.
It's not that long. It's a little bit long, but not that long.
But if I hear her humming, if it's something that I can, I was asked to focus, and I need something to focus on. So if I can catch the tune, I'll listen, and if it loops, I will hum along. If I know it, that makes it easier.
You don't know it, but you can copy it.
I will do so, and I will attempt to calm my damn nerves and protect myself as best as I can.
Go ahead and give me an Arate roll for Kaylee.
Okay. 3.
Okay.
Jesus, it's never good when you hear the giant dice pool.
The elevator shimmies. Everybody gets a little unsettled. The lights flicker in it for a second. Your head, Kaylee, gets pushed back against one of the walls involuntarily. Not hard enough to deal you damage, but hard enough to make your body move. You feel it in much more of a mental aspect. It feels like someone rang your mental bell.
So at that point, since I got smacked upside the head, for lack of a better term, I'll have stopped humming and I'll have to physically ground myself in, like have my hands placed against the back of the wall or against the side of the elevator or whatever it is. And then I will be humming for my own anxiety rather than for Dante's, because that's not what I'm used to. So at that point, I'd like to use Mind 1 to kind of hold myself together.
Yeah, I mean, you already have a mind effect up.
Yeah.
You can't shield Dante, but 3 successes definitely gave you a good mental framework. You were not prepared for something to reach out and mentally touch you like that. It's unsettling.
Yeah. So shaken, but kind of stable.
Oliver and Adam, you could take the stairs. The line for the elevator's pretty long. By the time you get to it, up to you what you want to do. Or if you want to continue and investigate this room, you could do that too.
So, Mike, I have a question.
Yes, Suits.
All right. Other than the immense display of power, is there anything particularly unsettling about the scenario or potentially the person that I saw?
Is there anything unsettling about it? Yeah, this feels like, in your estimation, this feels like a powerful umbral spirit that is active now, here. And when your mage was shook, like at the shoulders, you felt it as well. Same thing with Tudor would have felt it. When stuff reaches through the deep umbra or the umbra, wherever it's at, and touches you, like directly through the gauntlet, that's raw power. And someone's trying to make a point. What that point is, you're not sure, because it's not exactly being communicative in a way that you can work with.
I want to bring up my prime sense again, because I want to see if it messed with any of the patterns that's running through this building.
Go ahead and make me an Arate roll. You get the book out and start doing some more equations.
That's 1 success again.
Yeah, so the upper floors here, as far as the patterned portion, they look like someone's come through and created ripples through them. Like, I think a painting example might be the best way, right? So if I have a flat canvas, which I have painted on, and then I push another type of chemical into it and flood that space, and it's going to create a lightness or a thickness that isn't present in the rest of it, like a smudge. Like, imagine that. Imagine there's a painting here that you're all looking at, or you're looking at with prime senses, and someone came along and used their hand and has spread and smudged a shitload of this energy.
Somebody really messed up the patterns up here.
She's quite powerful, isn't she?
I would assume so. I mean, nothing to compare it to. But I can only imagine.
There's a choice to be made. She's either trying to pass through or trying to escape something. Could be grateful if assistance was delivered.
You ever let somebody out of somewhere, sometimes they pay you back.
So what are the two of you doing up there?
I'm going to poke around, especially I want to see about the that mirror there. If a crack came through it, maybe there's some residual.
Yeah, so as far as your prime senses go, there is residual energy, right? So the flavor or the sort of resonance you get off of it is rage. It is there is like spirit. Actually, you wouldn't get that because I don't think you have spirit. Yeah, so you get rage, right? Like, imagine that punch hole left some sort of mark behind. Not like a sigil or a mark you could reproduce, but there is like a pattern of energy there. You see the intensity, and that mirror in the physical is broke.
Hey, Suits, does the emotion or intent behind a magic flavor that magic?
Oh, most definitely.
So obviously the rage left behind that mark of her rage left behind a mark of rage.
Were I locked up, I'd expect the same.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Adam can't hear it. Never mind.
Well, you hear my side of it.
You probably hear him mumbling to himself.
Yeah. Which, I mean, at this point, okay, that goes with the territory.
Yeah, we're all going to do a lot of talking to ourselves.
Adam's going to check the mirror itself over, including the back of the mirror, to see if there was anything, pre-prepped to make this some sort of channel. I mean, we know that she appeared in the sphere, in the screen of the sphere, but she also appeared here in the mirror. And so I'm curious as to see if there's some sort of connection between the two, ethereal or physical.
You don't see anything left behind on the back of the mirror, even the shards that you were able to sort of like look at. There's no residual physical presence other than the sort of dizzying reality that this mirror was punched from the back.
Right. Somebody punched it from the inside out.
Right.
All right. Up till just a couple of days ago, Oliver, I would have said this is impossible. Now, obviously, not only is it possible, but it clearly fucking happens. So, and whoever it was, I don't think they were after Dante. I think they were just looking for a way out. I mean, a prisoner will stab any guard on the way out.
Suit said that it's some kind of spirit from the other side trying to get out.
Well, stands to reason. So the sphere is some sort of big marble conduit? That's horrific.
It seems like they need some kind. It needs some kind of way, a doorway.
Or did, because now it's hit the mirror too. So clearly, it's not just stuck to the sphere.
Well, right. I mean, but maybe it uses the sphere. Maybe it uses the mirror, whatever, as a doorway. Maybe the
hopefully
that energy that was coming out of the sphere has something to do with it. Attracted it.
I want to get inside the sphere.
We'll have to see about doing that then, won't we?
That's a pretty good idea. Let's go make sure Dante's okay, and let's find Kaylee.
Okay, so for Kaylee and Dante, when the elevator lets out, I'm going to just assume that you're leaving the win.
Oh, I was going wherever Dante's going.
Dante needs to get outside first. So yes, we leave the win with expediency.
Right.
And once I get outside, it's probably the first time I pause that wasn't being forced by the elevator. And it's also the first time I take that breath that the tutor was asking me to take.
Yep. Your boy doesn't breathe until he gets to the door.
I understand. And I'm...
Do you? Because I don't. Why is this happening?
I don't understand why it's happening.
I'm saying this aloud, by the way. I'm like pacing and talking to myself.
I understand not breathing until we were out of that building. I understand being pants-shittingly terrified.
What is that woman? Because whatever she is, it's not human, it's not normal, and it makes no damn sense.
So if I had to guess, which it would be a guess, I think that she is some form of spirit or something that lives in my side of things. It's called the Umbra. But she's something in the Umbra that's trapped or prisoner or otherwise. I think that she's an angry caged animal, effectively. I mean, whether she's a woman or something that's just appearing as a woman, I think she's mentally effectively an angry caged animal right now.
And it's some sort of coincidence that it all happened during my set so soon after
all I don't think it's a coincidence at all, but I don't know what that means.
Okay, so this is all fucked.
It's all fucked.
I look at Kaylee. Do you hey, hi, what's up?
Hi. Well, you're not okay.
Did you see that? You saw that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Are you okay? Because I'm not fucking
No.
okay. All right. Cool.
Under no circumstances am I okay. And when we were on the elevator, something else hit like a ton of bricks, and that made me less okay. And like, if Dante looks down, he can see that my hands are like clenched and shaking a little because my composure has only resolved so much on my face and not so much in the rest of my body yet.
Well, you know, I don't find myself genuinely curious about this kind of stuff. I'm not a meddler. I'm not trying to make enemies out of anyone, whether it's the techno wizards that hate me or giant emo ghost monsters trying to break out of bubbles. I'm good. Okay? I'm fine. I was doing fine. The set was great.
The set was great. You did very well, pretty boy. Nobody's saying otherwise.
Why is this happening?
I don't know. But, you know, when, you know, we all come together and when my Mr. B has, you know, said that there have been a lot of things that have happened. A lot of things that have seemed to have escalated. That, you know, we all awakened, I think was the term, on the same day. If I'm understanding even remotely any of this right, that's probably a big deal. And maybe it also, I don't know, unleashed a bunch of other shit that, you know, kind of lit us up like the sphere was, like a beacon. I can't tell you for sure because I don't know any more than you do about the whole thing.
Look, whatever it was in my dressing room, okay?
Yeah, and it was in the elevator with me in my head. It's not like it was a singular event for you, Dante. I don't think any of us are okay. I don't
think it's specifically targeting you, even though it was in your dressing room. I think it's drawn to energy that's in your and your friends. Maybe. But I think it's drawn to, there's the type of energy that you use for magic effects, or even the technocratic union scientists will use it for things, though we tend to refer to it a little bit differently. I think she's drawn to the power that comes with not being a mundane human, and the effects and objects made by and used by those people. So I don't necessarily think it's a you thing so much as a this place thing, but I don't know yet. I've only been back around with you for less than a week. I have knowledge, but it's a little outdated and mostly not of Las Vegas. And I'm trying my best.
No, and I get it, and that's fine. So this thing is here. And again, I'm saying, again, I just want to make it clear, like I'm saying all this stuff out loud. This thing seems like it's here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to be here. I really want to go, but I have family here. So what I'm going to do what any sane person would do when Stevie Nicks tries to come through the spirit world, and I'm going to call my agent and see about getting my contract moved to another location so that I can move my family and get the fuck out of Vegas. Because you know what? This was it. This was my moment. I have no reason to stay now. Especially not to look into or bother whatever the hell was in my mirror or that elevator.
Tutor's gonna manifest in a physical, like a visual way for Dante and try to put hands on shoulders again, because that seemed to work to be comforting before. Be like, Dante, I hate to tell you this, but this might just be your life now.
Oh, hell no. They've tried that before. No. People have said that to me a dozen times.
Not specifically this lady, but dealing with things like this. And this is where your family is. Your incredibly prolific family is here. The people you care about are here. And this might actually be solvable with you and your friends working together. You might be one of the few people who could actually help that lady. Who knows? If she's a lady, there's, again, complicated thoughts there. We need to do some research. But if she is a lady, we could maybe help her.
Why is this our problem?
Because, okay, think of it like a soap bubble caught inside of another soap bubble when you try to think about the world. Okay? Now, there's a gap between them, but she just sort of reached through one of the bubbles that she's not supposed to reach through and touched you, and seemed to touch all the people who could tell that they were being touched. And that is not supposed to happen.
I'm willing to bet she didn't touch anybody in Michigan. Or Wyoming.
Probably outside the strip, though. I mean, that was intense. I don't think she got to Saskatchewan yet.
All right, I need some time to process.
I'm a little dubious about where that is.
Can we do some processing?
Yeah, processing is good.
Where are the guys?
I also need to process things. I need to process them. And so that means you all have to process them. And we have to do it in the next episode. But before we do that, I think it would be fair, after such a climactic and eventful evening, I'm going to award our mages 7 points of experience for going through such a harrowing situation. They've learned a lot over the past week. Not even a week. It's been 6 days. And so perhaps on the 7th, they'll rest. We'll find that out. My guess is no. But we won't find it out until next time. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Mage, the Ascension of Babylon Chronicle, as put on by the cast of The Old Ways. We'd like to thank our players, both mages and avatars, for joining us for this session. And we look forward to seeing you all next episode.